Welcome to Hurghada. In this video, we'll cover what the city is like, broken up between the bustling city center with its beautiful views, surprises from the established northern Dahar, and the best place to live, the southern touristic villages. Following, we'll cover a weekend stay in Luxor to experience ancient wonders, and end with what you can gain from your stay in the seaside city. Arriving in Egypt for the first time was pleasant. While much of the world was dark and cold, Egypt was warm and sunny. Living in the city, rather than the resorts, was a unique experience. While the architecture was nothing to post on Instagram, it felt alive. The residential areas were tall, tightly packed buildings designed to protect from the elements. This in turn led to the ground floor being filled with shops, lounges, restaurants, and greenery. Walking out onto Sheraton Street was a blast to the past. Hurghada is an older resort town that doesn't have the shine Sharm el-Sheikh has. It makes up for this by being a city you can actually live in. The central part of town, where I live, had everything you would need, all within walking distance. One area of particular interest was Sherry Street. It felt like it belonged in any modern city, nice paving, well cared for greenery, and people enjoying their day. The best part of Central was the south of Sheraton. It not only had good places to work, but some of the best views in all of Hurghada, aside from resorts. It was well paved, had almost no traffic, and benches to stop and take in the view. Traveling to the northern area, known as Dahar, was a day of surprises. With nice administrative buildings and well taken care of greenery, it felt like a totally different city. I went to extend my tourist visa. What I expected to be a slow, chaotic bureaucracy turned out to be one of the fastest, most efficient systems I've ever experienced. It did not take weeks or days, but 2 hours. I had time to sightsee and found this place called Aquarium Cafe and Restaurant. While it did not have an aquarium, it did have good prices and an outstanding view. Afterwards, I stumbled on a shopping mall that did have an aquarium. And on the top floor was a cafe that had the fastest Wi-Fi in the entire city. To top the day off was a visit to a local mosque. While closed at the time, it was still stunning to see from the outside. The southern part of town, known as the Touristic villages, was by far my favorite. Since it was only a 5-minute van ride, I traveled down there to eat and work every day. It's the up-and-coming part of town, with plenty of new things being built. Many of the places here are affordable and high quality. As a result, it has the most greenery in Hurghada. The center promenades are filled with flowers, shrubs, and palms, making them a pleasure to walk down. Seeing greenery around businesses and residential areas was another great sign of progress. The work being put in this area is obvious and appreciated. The best parts were the cafes and restaurants. Many of them were comfortable, quiet, great places to work during the day, and most important, their Wi-Fi was fast and stable. There was a surreal part of the touristic villages. There was a large, upscale esplanade that housed many resorts, fine restaurants, an open-air mall, and the most exotic plant in Egypt, grass. But despite it looking like it could fit a parade and the crowd to go with it, I rarely saw anyone there. The star of this month in Hurghada was the weekend trip to Luxor. It felt like a genuine adventure, mixed with ups, downs, and unforgettable moments. Arriving in the afternoon left time for dinner and sightseeing visits. Al Sahabi restaurant on the top of Nefertiti Hotel had a great view and delicious food. While priced high, the value was worth it. Walking around Luxor at night was both off-putting and worthwhile. The scammers and touts constantly tried to make me stop, but seeing the city, full of energy, was invigorating. Luxor Temple, the shining star of the city, looked enticing from every view. Looking down the corridor was a mix of deja vu, wonder, and grandiosity. The solid stone pillars were larger than life, and the ambient lighting gave them a beauty of their own. The next morning was a trip to the West Bank. Seeing Luxor, a major Nile city, was an experience all its own. While others take a ferry across the Nile, taking a private transfer had its own charm. Seeing the city while being told its history during the ride was like warping through time. Arriving at the Valley of the Queen was its own mini adventure. It was a small section with its own touts and infrastructure. Having a guide here was worth it. Despite giving tours for years and telling the same story countless times, his feeling of excitement was still infectious. The Valley of the Kings was very secluded, and despite the amount of tourists, it seemed as if it had nothing of interest. While the guide wasn't allowed within the tombs, his fervor wasn't needed. Beauty spoke for itself. Living with Hurghada's people, rather than separated in a resort, gave me a unique perspective. It was special being part of the city, having a taste of its inner workings, and appreciating what it had to offer. Reflecting back on it confirms my belief to expect as little as possible when traveling to a new destination. For my first time in Egypt, it was a balanced experience. I went in knowing that it had warm weather and was affordable to live in long term. I wanted to learn about everyday Egyptians, what a city would feel like, and the quality of life that could be had. Going in without expectations, I was pleasantly surprised to find the people's extroversion refreshing, their playfulness amusing, and their hustle impressive. Many work 12 plus hours a day, yet still have a good attitude with tourists. The city earns its respect, and faced with a better resort destination across the sea, it still stands its own. As with all cities, there were dilapidated areas and well-kept areas. Due to the contrast between the two, it was easy to appreciate the better parts with their new businesses and greenery. In total, Hurghada felt worn down, but more importantly, it felt crafty and resilient. Being a part of it, these emotions left a lasting impression. What I left with was a better respect for what it means to have grit.